All right, guys. So we are live. We got Daniel, we got Anthony, we got the HiveMind boys. Guys, why don't you start off explaining, introducing yourself, explaining a little bit about what you guys do in the real estate field, and we'll get into some questions.
Sure. My name is Daniel. I actually run HiveMind CRM. It's a software business automation platform, but we also do land real estate. I used to be a truck driver 5 years ago, originally from Atlanta, so where I met Gino, and I ended up leaving before we ever met. I actually met him for the first time a few weeks ago, or 2 weeks ago or so. But it was one of those cool things where kind of crossed paths. But I was in Atlanta for 6 years, but now doing full-time real estate and software now.
Heck yeah. What about you, Anthony?
Yeah, I'm in San Antonio, Texas. I have a construction background, and we started doing looking at land deals. When we first got into real estate, and I thought I was going to be a house flipper, right? Because I have a 20-year construction background, and I randomly got a land deal, and we made $85K on it, nothing out of pocket. So I'm like, I think we're going to take a closer look at this land thing. So we went down that rabbit hole, and I'm just never looking back. So we've kind of created a niche for ourselves in that space, and we're doing like education and JVing with a lot of people right now. Always looking for private capital, that kind of stuff, to keep going faster.
Gotcha. So, and what year time frame was this around when you were getting into land? You guys
4 years ago.
I won't say it was 18. I feel like it was.
So, God bless. So you guys been doing land for 4 years now.
Yep. Yeah. It's our fifth year playing a game.
God, so you guys can definitely teach a lot of us on here. So people watching or they're going to listen to this, make sure to ask your questions down below. So let's go into it now. So what did your guys' business look like? Obviously when you started, no one, but in the last year or two, what does it, transform into? What is your guys, business in terms of the people, in terms of your strategies? I know it's land, right? But maybe you can go over maybe 2022, like what exactly looks like your team and, what it might need to take to, be successful in this land game.
We're very decentralized, and by that I have like 2 people on my software side, and then I have 3 people just for content creation. So we produce a lot of content, our own podcasts, videos, short form, all the jazz. I got 2 full-time editors and 1 social media manager, and then I have 2 people in software. Anthony's real estate side, he can tell you what his side looks like.
Yeah, I'm front facing on the real estate side. So Daniel runs the back end. The reason that we even started a CRM white label platform is because we knew these deals are hard to find, right? They're not easy. We were always doing low volume, like 8 to 10 deals a year, looking for 6 figures on the deal. So very low volume. We knew they were kind of hard to find, kind of like a needle in a haystack. So we said, let's do a platform where we can teach people how to find these things, right? And the most basics of what you need is a CRM. So we kind of built our education platform around that. And now we're teaching other people how to bring us a land deal. So we only have 2 in-house people, one that monitors a CRM, one that monitors inbound PPC. And then everybody else, like Daniel says, is decentralized. They're all JV partners that bring us deals, help analyze deals, help raise capital, bring buyers, that kind of stuff. So we have a very, very small team, and everybody else is outside of the company. And I think a lot of what we do is a lot of JV deals. But yeah, so in 2022, what we focused on was going after bigger deals. So we just drew a line in the sand. I think it was like towards the end of summer. We said the smallest size deal that we want to look at is a land deal that's valued at $1 million and up. And I think that was a turning point for us, because now we can have a deal completely come apart and it looks like, things are just completely going south, and we'll still walk away with $200,000.
Oh, right? Yeah. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So what is y'all's primary exit strategy for the land?
We do a lot of subdivides. So we'll pick up like 100 acres or 200 acres, and then we'll cut it down into like 10 and 20 acre tracts. And then we'll sell those off seller finance. So that's why we're able to move. Even in a recession, we're selling faster now than we ever have, right? Because if somebody needs to go buy 10 acres and, it's going to be $250,000, $300,000, there's not a lot of people walking around with that type of capital. Land is very hard to get a loan on. So by us doing seller finance with 10 or 20% down, your average buyer can afford that all day long. Yeah, so that's where we really hit our stride.
Yeah, I like that. So talk me through that. So you guys buy a piece of land, talk me through a deal. Like you guys buy a piece of land, then you subdivide it. Because obviously you're buying it cash, I would assume, or at least private money, and then you would sell it on terms, or
so you're wrapping it.
We acquire creatively. So we've been operating broke for the last 4 years. So we acquire creatively and we sell creatively. We did 107 acres back in, was that 21 or 20?
It started in 21, finished in 22.
We bought 107 acres in 2021, finished in 2022. It was 107 acres, and we subdivided into 10 acre lots, like 10, 11 acre lots. It took us 9 months to complete the deal. The deal was the purchase price was $1,070,000. We took it down with $200K private capital with a 24-month balloon, and we paid them off with their own lot.
Nice. So you paid them off by giving them one piece of the subdivided land?
No, we paid them off by selling off 3, 4, 5 lots and then paying off with their lot. So we were getting these lots like 50 to 60 cents in the dollar, and we're increasing the value by subdividing. So we can pay full price. We don't even negotiate price, and most times we just negotiate terms. So if like I want $1 million, okay, we'll give you $1 million. Just give us 5 years or 2 years, whatever it looks like.
Yeah, I'll give you another example. So we're doing one right now. It's 54 acres. We're picking it up for $600,000. We're doing $5,000 down, $5,000 a month, 0% interest. So as we're starting to subdivide it, right, we're just going to just take those payments that we receive and give 100% of them to the seller till we're paid off. So first lot we sold was 3 acres. We sold it for $199. We're selling another 5 acres for another $249. So just with 5 acres removed out of the 54 acres, we're 80% of the way paid off on this deal. Yeah. We still have about $600,000-$700,000 worth of land. So all we need to do is just sell one more little portion, give that to the seller. Now we're $500-$600 up on the deal.
Yeah, that makes sense. Who is like your buyer for, like, for example, this 10-acre tract, or you said 11 10-acre tracts, right? Who's buying that?
So we only sell to the retail market. We don't have any buyers list at all. So we've never sell to investors or developers, right? Because if you're selling to investors and developers, they're looking for a deal, right? So they're looking for a huge discount, the same way that you'd look for in houses. But by us selling to mostly like blue collar workers, retail end buyers, we're able to sell at full retail and above. We've been able to sell as high as 50% above retail.
Shoot, that's pretty wild. I always have like trouble valuing land.
That's the cool part, is that's
the part about it, man.
Yeah, there's really no hard numbers. So if I think it's worth 100, but somebody's willing to come in and pay 140 for it, who are we to tell them what the land's worth? So the land is pretty much just worth what somebody wants to pay for it. So there's another deal we're doing south of San Antonio. It's 218 acres. And I would say the land around there is probably valued at about 10 to 12 an acre right now. And we're selling 20-acre tracts for $249, right? So you're just selling right above retail. We have some of those that we're going to sell for 20 an acre, right? So in an area where it's going for 12, we're selling at 20, right? So you're well above retail, and things are still moving. Like I said, it doesn't count at all.
Got it. So I'm following you guys right now. So let's break it through. I know you gave us some deal examples. So let's say your talk track with the seller. Your talk track with your seller is like, look, I can give you $1 million just if you are willing to be better with your terms. Now, do you guys go into DD with her, like, to see if it's even going to get approved to get subdivided? Do you guys do, like, you wait to close, or are you guys already, like, how are you guys, underwriting at that point? Because I know Chandler's starting to look at like future use of some land sources, like identifying, like, what are you guys doing more, of the underwriting side of it? Because of course, like you said, I'll pay whatever your price, you give me terms, but what if it can't be subdivided? Like what are you guys doing to look at that?
Step one is lock it up for 90 days or more. Like we're not doing 30-day turnarounds. Like that houses, you have to do 30 days or else you're an asshole and you don't move that property. With land, we have 90 days, 6 months. I've been working on one land deal for 4 years since I started, and I'm still working it. It can produce $1 million on one deal, but I've been working it for 4 years. The thing is that with land is the people that own it, they inherit it, they own it cash. It just sits there for 20 years. What's another 6 months? They don't care about it. So you can leverage it and get it under contract for 6 months. As soon as we contract it, what do you do with a wholesale? As soon as you contract it, you look for buyers day one. We do the same thing. We start looking for buyers day one. And if we can show enough buyers have interest in that property, usually we're getting it 50 cents on the dollar. So if there's 10 lots, we only need 5 buyers to come in, put an LOI on interest on the property, and that pays off the whole property. Okay, what's the deal at that point once we got 5 buyers interested? Yeah. So depending on how many lot splits it is, it can get pretty crazy. So like we're looking at one right now. We actually just got an assignment for it yesterday, or was it today? It's 9 acres. We're looking to subdivide it into like 14.7 acre lots that we're going to sell for 75. I don't even want to say what we're getting it for, but hopefully he's not listening to that. We're paying the wholesaler $50,000 for it, and we might make 700.
Yeah, look at that.
That's a shake my head moment.
So you know that though when going into it, when I mean know that, do you mean did you look at like the future use code, like, hey, we know that we're going to be able to subdivide these to 0.7 lots, or did you just read the zoning? Like what did you catch about because you can't just say, hey, I want to put 50 lots on this one property. You obviously have to do some research. So for the people watching this, beginners, have no idea, like, what are you looking at? I know step 1, 90 days. What's the next steps, to identify?
So you can even go to the county's website. You can read the subdivision regulations on there, or you can actually call the county and ask them, about the area that you're working in. Sometimes they'll say, hey, that's out of our ETJ. We kind of don't care what you do out there. If it's in the city, especially like some of your like blue states or blue cities like Austin, it's going to be a lot harder to work there, right? Because there's a lot more red tape and regulations, right? So that's what you're going to get, that pushback. That's why we love Texas. Everything that we target is outskirts unrestricted. So if you take a major city, it's like encased by, like Bexar County, right, in San Antonio. We'll completely crop Bexar County out of our search criteria, and we're just looking out here, like in the outskirts. So we're looking to play in areas where there's not that much red tape and you can move very quickly. So within 90 days, we have a pretty good idea of what our subdivision might look like. We'll have a concept drawn up already. So we're pre-shopping lots before we even close to make sure that the deal is going to be good. So if we do have a deal for 90 days, we find that there's no buyers responding to that price point in that area, we either revisit the seller and say, hey, we can't purchase at this price. We need to work on a price reduction if we're going to move forward with the contract, or we just cancel altogether.
Yeah. And as far as I want to answer your question too, as far as the sweet spot, it's usually within hours. So think people, and this is where it comes down to our buyer pool. People that buy land, they can afford to, and they're looking for that space, looking for hunting land, looking for things. People that always going to take care of home first, they're always going to take care of home first. So it's not a necessity. So people that buy land, they're a different type of buyer. The other thing is that they're willing to commute. So usually the sweet spot is 60 minutes from the city. So you guys are in Atlanta, you might have Locust Grove on the south side. You might have Marietta and.
Actually, funny you said Locust Grove. We got a land deal there right now, potentially.
I used to live in Locust Grove, and I live 45 minutes from the city. That's why I live there.
Yeah,
it was a commute, and this is a funny thing because like I lived there because I had 5 acres, and it was a 30-minute drive to work. We're 45 minutes to the city, and that's why I liked it. And that's our whole strategy now is that people they like space. They like living within 60 minutes of their city commute, airport. Venues to go to concerts and stuff like that. So it's that sweet spot.
So I have a question. It's 10.6 acres under contract right now, and it's definitely like a deal. I mean, I think someone would buy it, but how do you look at this? So we can. I've already looked at the zoning. We can
do a live deal. Let's put a live deal.
Yeah, we can do like a live deal role play. So I looked at the zoning based on what I can see, and I haven't like mapped it out or had any engineers like do anything on CAD or whatever, but it looks like I can probably get 10 to 11 lots on it. Like how do you value that? And just like do you look at what new construction home prices are selling for? Like, because they're small lots, they're like 30,000 square feet. So
we do the opposite, and this is the short answer: is we look at it at the worst case scenario. What's it valued at? So if it's 9 acres and it's worth $20K an acre, are you getting under 180? Basic. If you have to buy it at 9 acres, worst case scenario, can you sell it at 9 acres and still make a profit?
Mm-hmm.
If that's a good, then you're positive. Then you can kind of look. The reason why we like land too, because there's no cap. If you can put 5 lots or 10 lots, it's still a deal. Or you sell it as 9, it's still a deal. So it's wondering where the line is. Like me and Anthony, like we contract deals all the time. Like we might make 50K or we might make 400. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
We'll find out in 6 months.
It just depends. How do you look at day one? So that makes sense. Yeah, I can totally get behind that. How do you like and then once you just subdivide it, you're just kind of like, let's just put it at a price that makes sense or like that we would like, and see if you get it. And
the trick is seller financing.
Yeah,
if you can seller finance everything, people are willing to pay overpriced, and they're only willing to look at the payment. So if you have $100,000 lot and you sell it for $100,000, your buyer pool is small. But if you sell it for $10,000-$20,000 down, you might have 500 buyers come in wanting that property. So you can sell it for $125,000, $150,000.
Which we totally could, because we're buying this under contract for this land for $30K. So we could buy it for 30, get the site plans done, maybe $20K for all that, get it subdivided, and then sell it on terms and get all of our cash back with down payments.
I'll do. We always bring up this example. We did this deal about 1.5 years ago, which kind of gave us the idea of how this works. So we found a lot, a $35,000 lot. How many $35,000 lots out there? There's thousands in every city. Mm-hmm. Seller wanted 15, already 50 cents on the dollar. Anthony negotiated 8. We got it for $8. We sold it on Marketplace for $8,000 down, $500 a month for 5 years. Well, what's the ROI on that? What's the infinite return? Because you're no money into the deal. You took the buyer's cash, paid the seller off, and now you just collect the payment. That's $250 to $750 is what a normal rent house rents for, and we're doing that with a $35,000 lot.
Yeah, that's actually kind of nice.
It's kind of nice, but so
Kinda nice.
Daniel
I like
and
that.
Anthony, you can help us out with this. Like, so Chandler, pull up that address and stuff, because it's not just are you looking at what's price per sale? And again, I know I keep asking kind of the same question, but it's price per acre you're looking at. What they're selling for. And for his case, like, what if it's obviously you got to look at floodplain, you got to look at how much street frontage some of these have, because you're not just subdividing them right off the bat, right?
Frontage is key, especially with subdividing. You have to have frontage based off the code to subdivide into however many lots you're looking for. So, like, one thing we always teach is, like, frontage is the whole key to the deal. That's the sauce. Like, if you have frontage to subdivide into multiple parcels, that's where you're going to get the most money off of it. So, like, if you see flag lots that's 50 acres with a little tiny 60-foot frontage, it's a shit deal.
Yeah. And that's why this one is maybe a shit deal, because the frontage is not very big. Like, I got to look it up on the GIS map to see exactly what it is, but you'd have to be able to you'd have to be able to build like a road in there in order to access the parking, like the neighborhood basically that you built.
So that might not be a great subdivided lot, because by the time you bring in a road, right, that could kill the deal. We're looking at one right now where if we brought in a road, we could probably cut it into, like, 12, 15 tracks, but the road's going to be like 700,000, right? That's
700,000. How long is that? How much do you pay for a road, like, per mile? I guess
we don't
go by the foot. So if you're going to do just a road by itself, paved asphalt road without the water line, roughly about $200. If you had a water line, you're going to add about $300 a foot.
So that's actually good
road. Yeah. Then
it's gonna vary by each market too. And here's the other thing: we know the price of what it costs. We don't like doing it. Just like you guys like wholesaling, flipping paper, we'd like doing the same thing.
We never do the work. Yeah.
We never develop it.
Yeah, FYI, we're not developing at all. So we're not putting in roads, we're not putting in culverts, we're not putting in water wells, we're not putting in fencing or electric, none of that stuff.
Do you guys entitle? I mean, I guess entitling is what, just getting it ready to be developed? Is that pretty much what
That's it. We're actually doing one right now, OT, Texas, south of San Antonio. So we're going to get it ready to build a neighborhood. I don't know that we're going to break ground on it, but we're going to go ahead and file all the paperwork, get it ready. It's going to be on the MLS the whole time while we're filing the entitlements. And then, of course, after they're done and completed and approved, then we'll raise the price. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and list it at a good price, and then we'll continue to raise it. Yeah. And then after the entitlements are done, of course, it's going to be listed higher. If nobody pulls a trigger on it, then we probably are going to start selling smaller lots on that one. So we will look at bringing in a road and maybe some a water line and all that. That might be our first small development, but it's a little quick in and out deal. It's a little town that's really easy to work with. And there's a lot of spread there. If we do bring in that road and drop into all those lots the way that I'm imagining it, right? This is still going in front of the engineers. It might push our spread to like $1.5 million or something, which is probably a lot less than we'd want to make on that amount of work and the amount of time that we're going to put into it. Like I said, it's low hanging fruit deal. It's already sitting there.
What do you think you could sell it with the entitled stuff without doing the work? Is that what you're saying, $1.5 million?
Yeah, I'm probably just going to back out maybe so that way I'll leave maybe like $750 for the developer, $800 for the developer. So we'll still try to walk away with about $500 to $600 on it.
Yeah. So again,
how many lots is it?
I'm pushing for about 30 lots. Hopefully I can get a little bit more, but there's some flood zone in the back of the property. So it's still
another thing in the flood zone.
Yeah.
So, okay, then you went first 90 days, second, we can say frontage, or you said zoning. So how hard, I know you guys are saying when you're looking at some of these, you're not way, but you're on the outsides of the cities. And so what you're saying is basically like, it doesn't matter the zoning, you guys are easily able to change it. Is that what I'm kind of hearing? I mean, obviously it varies, but
everything starts off agricultural, and as the city expands, which is why we like land, it's ever expanding and growing markets. So it ever expands into more areas. So as you might have seen Atlanta, if you've been there for long, you've seen it grow in certain areas. So that land became more valuable as the population grew in that area. So as long as you're staying ahead of that curve, that land's going to turn from agricultural to a single family or to an apartment or to whatever. So land is the base of everything, and has no cap to the ceiling, which is like houses has a comp next door, so you can only sell it for 250. Whereas land, there's no like cap to it. As long as you know you have a deal, the sky's the limit.
Yeah. So the game would go to stay outskirts unrestricted, and that's what we do. Because if you did want to put in something, let's say a commercial, or you wanted to do a couple of 8-plexes, or if you wanted to do self-storage, it's already unrestricted anyway. It's agricultural, right? You can shoot out there, you can do whatever you want. Whereas like if you're working inside of Bexar County right here, for any kind of replatting at all, you're looking at a year. Right?
In California, all of California is 3 years. So this is where you work you do land in states that are friendly to people that do what we do. We don't target like we got 9 acres in Florida. We asked to subdivide and like, oh, it's like a year process. I'm like, yeah, forget it. It's a deal at 9 acres. I'll sell it at 9 acres. Like, I'm not going to bother with it.
So what, when you said unrestricted, is it, again, I'm acting for here, everyone listen, just starting out. Is it like the land use is saying unrestricted on there, or you're just assuming that it's unrestricted because it's so far out? Like what is?
It's literally unrestricted. Like, so like Daniel said, it's mostly like in the say agricultural, something like that. So you'll call the county and you'll say, hey, I'm gonna buy this 50-acre tract over here on this area on this road, and they'll literally tell you like, yeah, there's no restrictions out there. You can do whatever you want.
Got it.
But there's no need to file any kind of rezoning or anything like that.
Just fucking go off on it, build whatever.
Actually, my dad bought like a piece of property kind of out in the sticks in Winder, since you're from Georgia. And they're like, he's like, can I do this with the property? He's like, we don't check.
Yeah. I sold a property to a guy out in the county, and he wanted to build a house. He was like, hey, who do I got to talk to, to build a house here? And I'm like, dude, there's nobody to call. So we even called like just in good faith to try to say like, hey, where can we pull some permits? Where can we do this? So he didn't have to pull anything other than the permit for the septic tank.
I was gonna say septic.
We throw a whole 2-story house with electric and water and everything, and there's no city inspections at all. Nobody's coming to check on it. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's crazy. So okay, so what states do you guys work in?
We're looking at deals everywhere.
Yeah, we're in Texas right now. We just bought one in Florida. We're looking at some in North Carolina, but so we
a deal in Pennsylvania.
We go anywhere where there's a deal, but what we know and what we've been doing this whole time is all Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just so vast. I mean, it'll be 100 years from now, and we'll still have never flipped all the land here.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's bigger than France.
Bigger in Texas.
Yeah.
Bigger than France. But yeah, and we're talking about Chandler, their best lead source right now, where they shut off marketing indirectly, and now they're doing a lot of stuff with JVs.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So tell us, guys, I know you got HiveMind, so obviously that, like you said, that fed into it. Is there any other ways you guys are getting these JV deals sent to you?
Podcast, man.
There you go. That's when Daniel comes
talking
in.
about like this, because I mean, obviously you guys have a skill set and a knowledge base that would take some time to learn.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's really the thing. It is people ask us like, hey, do you guys have any kind of like something we could read, something we can go off of, some videos? It's like, nope, bring us a deal. We'll show you how to do it. And that's really the best way to learn. That way, where the hurdles are, what you're going to run into. There's really no way to give all the information away without you just having to have been through it. So we set people up with pay-per-click campaigns on Google and Facebook, and then also set them up with like a dialer, or if they want to text, they can do that. I know that's a gray area. But we just essentially teach them what to look for and how to find it, how to get a hold of the sellers. And then usually they'll bring it back to us to help evaluate it and then see if it's a deal that we can piece together, either creatively. Sometimes we'll get zero down. Those are the kinds of deals that we're looking for. Sometimes it makes sense to actually purchase them. So we'll look at any round as long as it's a deal.
Yeah, we're working with an equity fund right now. They're trying to get us like 10 million. So we might start buying everything soon.
What do you do then?
What does that look like?
I don't know. I'll let you know. we're in the talks right now, but it's one of those things where they're trying to get us. They like our business model and they understand our structure. And a lot we've done, like for everybody here, you can do what we've done without capital. Like we've done very little private cap. We've done very little with our own capital and private capital. We've done a lot, and this is where it comes down to. We're like, we'll lock up. We're looking at a $12 million deal, locking it up for $100,000.
Wait, you're gonna make 12 million or sell it for 12 million?
It's buying a $12 million
purchase
lot.
Price for $100K down.
We're locking it up.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That's impressive.
What's the plan on that one?
Yeah.
If it comes to fruition, is it just to do the same stuff you always do, like try to subdivide it? Is it try to?
That's it. Same thing, man. So that it's several lots. So some of them are going to be sold as is, and then some of them will be need to be subdivided. So yeah, we're just running the same play over and over again, and we're not
It's
trying
kind
to.
of boring. The numbers are get bigger.
That's all we're doing. We're doing the exact same play, and as the numbers continue to grow, it's still the same thing over and over again. So nothing changes. And then we're just letting the sellers know is exactly what we're going to do. We have one that we're looking at right now that's 5,500 acres for 15 million. And the guy's agent said, "Hey, can you guys send us proof of funds?" And I said, forget the agent. I'm going to call the seller because that's the one that we started talking to. And I said, "Hey, man, just FYI," I said, "that's not how our business model works. We're not going to wire you $15 million. I said, "We're going to start advertising for smaller size lots, 500 to 1,000 acres. We're going to make sure that we have some buyers interested in that property. And then we're going to get a pool of us. We're going to come in and we're going to take the property down together. There's no way I'm going to wire you 15 million. So if you want proof of funds, we don't have it." And he said, "Okay, that's fair enough. When can you come see it?" So we explained it. Yeah.
The realtors try to complicate it, but he doesn't really care.
So explain this piece to where you advertise those small lots to find out if there's buyers. So basically you're getting the plans with the engineer for the site plans, and then you're advertising, "Hey, here's the lots that we have, and just if people want to buy it," or are you just saying like, "Do you want to buy small lots in this area?" Like how are you structuring that?
Even before that, we would run what we call ghost ads. So it doesn't have no description of the property. It doesn't tell you where it is. There's no pictures of it. There's no way to identify where it is. But we're running ads, let's say, for that small town. And we say, "Hey, we got 10-acre lots, for $249. Is anybody interested?" So if we're running ads for that property, right, and we get 1 or 2 people interested in a week, it's probably not a very hot property. But we run that same ad somewhere and we're getting 50 messages a day, then we know that property, we should absolutely pursue that one. So try to make sure that the buyers are going to respond to that price point before we do anything.
Got it. And you're doing that for PPC campaigns, it sounds like. Or like what kind of ads? Facebook, Craigslist, anything?
We're Facebook, and then we're texting and calling agents and brokers.
Got it.
Nice.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, honestly.
All right, so we got about 3 minutes left here, and I know you guys covered a lot of different things. If people coming back, because this is a foreign subject to a lot of people, right? Land deals and wholesaling. So, if you guys could, explain just, maybe a minute each, if you were to start over again in this business, land wholesaling or land flipping, right? How would you do it? And I know that's a big loaded question. It's going to be hard to answer in a minute, but maybe give us the first few steps of what you would do if you're going to restart the business, with what you know now.
I'll go first on this one, Daniel. I would immediately pull a list of larger tracts. So I'd pull no smaller than 50 acres, outskirts of the city, no upper limit. So 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 acres, no less than 50. And I would just go straight after those.
Hell yeah. I like that.
Texting and calling, all creative pitches. I mean, that was the shortcut to everything, because it doesn't require any more skills. It doesn't require anything extra to go after a $5 million deal than it does to go after a $15,000 infill lot. So I would have just skipped all the little stuff. You struggle when you're doing smaller deals, right? When you're making $10,000 or $15,000 or $20,000 hits, then you got to recycle a lot of that back into your business. So it affects your learning curve. It affects the rate that your business can grow. But if you're well capitalized, you can move a lot faster. And if I had known that we could have done creative deals, 0 down, 0 interest, on multi-million-dollar deals, we would have just started there.
Yeah, I feel you. Same thing with single family. What about you, Big Daniel?
My tip is almost the same thing, but I would go after listed properties, because land sits on the MLS for 2 years and nobody will touch it. Like, when's the last time we got an offer? It's been a year.
Yeah.
They kick the dust off the web page in a while, and then make a creative offer. You don't know what the seller's going to make. And we're talking to an agent right now. Agent was more motivated than the seller, and the agent's trying to move the property for us because she wants to get paid, because the seller might unlist the listing and she's not going to get paid anything. So like there's so many properties on the market that want to sell, they just want their price point. And what do you do with that? You offer creative finance.
There you go. Yeah, give them what they want. Just give you the terms. I like it, man. I like it. So, okay. So guys, we got a little bit left here. Where can everyone that's watching this now recording, how can they reach out to you, send you some of these land deals? Maybe Anthony, go first. How can, everyone reach out?
I think our Facebook page is where we always hang out. We're always monitoring that page. It's HiveMind CRM on Facebook, but we're everywhere, man. We're on TikTok, YouTube. I mean, literally everywhere.
Heck yeah. Same place for you, Daniel? You got?
Yeah. You can message us directly. Like I said, our message is getting blown up, and if you can figure out our email, send us an email. But, the best way to send is directly to us, and we'll look at every deal. Like me and Anthony, we're getting really good at deals that we can pretty much tell you if it's a deal or not in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
I like that.
I like
We need to
that.
send you after this,
Yeah.
Chandler. Send him a couple of deals we got.
I know. Just see what y'all can't cook up on us for us. Appreciate it.
Hey.
Um,
So anyway,
yeah.
guys, appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. I know we'll probably have you guys on again because you guys went into a lot. You got your supporters there for you, Daniel. They were ready for dinner. I guess it's only 3:30 in California though, but for that lunch. But anyway, guys, yeah, we'll love to have you guys back on. And thanks again. I'll make sure we'll reach out to you guys on some deals as well.
And happy to JV with you guys anytime, and happy to look at some stuff and try to see if we can make some magic happen for you.
Heck
For
yeah.
sure. It'd be awesome.
Thanks again, boys.
Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate it.